if anything happened in this commerce department. Like, the organization can decide, organization can decide strict rules for formalization, especially in frequent occurring any problems are there. How to solve a problem? What are the rules and regulations? If anything happen within the organizations, like the sales department, there is an issue in sales department and procurement department, how to follow? What are the rules and responsibility of a sales management head, as well as the procurement management head, and what are the rules and regulations for this logistic person? Like they're following the rules and regulations. The clear reporting lines will be decided. Clear reporting lines will be decided based on the organizational structure. Who is the responsible person, right? So in an organization, there are so many people are working like this structure. If we say that A, B, C, uh, D, E, F, G. So who is the responsible person? F can be under working in D, D working on B working in A, or else we follow this method. So depending upon this line method, the organization can be followed. Or we followed this line method to uh, clear all these areas. Okay. So like large size, the large size organizations, like no, those employees are more than 10,000 or more. Some organizations uh, these are like these organizations have there more than 1 lakh employees are there. At TCS, Reliance Industries Group, or Tata's, or Birla's. Their group of organizations have their employees are more than 1 lakh. So how to segregate the employees and different business models? So you can take an example of these Tatas. So they have a different kind of businesses. Like they enter Tata's, they sell Tata Gluco to Tata Salt to world richest cars, and they entered in uh, IT industries. TCS is also there. They entered in gold. Tanishq is there. No, different kind of segments are there. Like they entered in beverages in the name of Starbucks. Both is a joint venture. So, like you can take the example of Reliance Industry. They have n number of subsidies are there. Different business models are there. So how the size is different for firm to firm. So naturally, what we decide is the firms are small cap, mid cap, and large cap firms, right? So firm sizes are different according to their number of employees working, according to the number of capital is involving, number of sales. What is based on the sales? The firm size can be decided either larger firm as a mid firm and a small firm. Okay. After this, what are the advantages if we follow this method? So it is identify very highly efficiency, degree of specialization, and if you clear very roles and responsibilities, it's very easy to identify this efficiency, who is working well in organization, who is not working well, and if any problem is there, we will easily identify and will solve the problems. What are the disadvantages in this method? So, in disadvantages are strength depending upon these leaders. If leader is unable to handle the issue, so there is a big problem. I mean, we can't say that all leaders are good. Sometimes the leaders also is unable to handle the issue. So, leader is a very experienced in marketing guy, but the management appointed as a logistics is unable to handle these issues in logistics. But he is efficient to handle the issues in this other areas like so culture of politics. So in an organization, the human there is a use conflict, sometimes cultural conflicts and power conflicts. Who is responsible, who is activity, all these and demotivation. Sometimes if you restrict the very strict rules and regulations and lack of decision making power of the employees and culture of pleasing of all these the firm, right? Such organization attract more employees and professionalism. No. So no one is ready to work in the strict rule organizations. So they want little bit relaxation to these, right? So sometimes horizontal organizations. The organizations are very horizontal firm. Horizontal firm. So the hierarchy is minimized. Reporting structure is not primary control, decision making is authority. So here the horizontal form, information is symmetric. This information will be followed one to one. The top force is also there. The project manager will lead the all appointed these responsibilities persons, project managers. And under project manager, there are various teams are there. Teams are working, and if it's larger scale, the more team size is very huge. Number of teams are there. If it is small size, the mid size, we can't see that much of teams. And in horizontal organizations also, their learning organizations objectives also advantage are there. Disadvantage is also difficult to implement in horizontal coordination success effective depending upon this cultural organizations, promotion, rewards, collaborations all will be affected, and it's also one of the disadvantages of implementing in uh, these horizontal organizations. Enforcement is also one kind of limitations and lack of authority. So in horizontal pharma and organizations, who we can't identify this proper person as authority person. So unclear rules. So decentralization of decision making introduce its own set of problems. So there are some problems in decentralized. Centralized will introduce this decentralized. Even decentralized also there are some problems are there. Everyone feel everyone feel their own decision making. What we call lease and fire method. It results in a lot of blame game of fingering point of when things are very bad. So now is vertical structure. So organization is follows like no vertical formal organization structure like one president is there. Under one president, there are R&D research and development department is there, manufacturing department, marketing department, HR department, finance department, procurement department. Now we'll see one more. We can add operational department. We can add logistics department. We can add like various department also we can add within these organizations. So vertical organization also some advantages are there and some disadvantages. So organizations develop expert in its respective areas. Like respective areas, nothing but this R&D, sales, marketing, all these under. So like disadvantage of people are specialized, slice and fail to coordinate with them, right? So salespersons also, everyone is own kind of mindset. So like the product, men's wear, women wear, child wear clothes. So if the company want to produce a product, so what kind of product the company going to produce? So it's a men wear product the company going to produce, or women wear, or child clothing, which is giving the more profitable. And uh, like the company has to decide, company go for three kind of product develop, or they go for only children. Why? Because they give higher profitability. So this is the one question. The second one is they want to do the marketing. They can sell either retail store or e-commerce and catalogs, right? So they can sell the product in a physical store as well online. Which one is better? So if it's a retail, is offline store, there is a issues. There are some advantages, some limitations are there. Some e-commerce operations also, e-commerce business also, some limitations, some advantages also there. It's own advantages and limitations of in marketing of their products. Like the company want to sell the product either northeast states and southeast states and the southwest states. So like various kind of structural products are there. So like we'll take one more chart for further analysis, product and functional organizations. So one president is there under, so the total organizations are divided into three different divisions. Division X, Division Y, Division Z. Under pro- Division X, there are four departments are similar in all these divisions. Manufacturing department, marketing, finance, R&D. Like, so it provide this kind of organizations are provide more focus and flexible in each division, core competence. So easy to monitor each division wise. Why? Because number of employees are limited, the transactions are limited. Okay, so easily we can identify if any problem is there, and easily take a decision making. Easily we can take a decision. Like there are some disadvantages, the duplication of work, the same work done by these multiple times, and employ similar technical career path is also there. So sometime we have a fourth kind of organization structure, it is matrix structure. Matrix structure. See the matrix structure under have a one president is there under one president. See this manufacturing product X manager of manufacturing, marketing, finance, R&D, HR, and procurement. So like this is one kind of matrix of organization structures. Like so it create a functional and divisional partnership and focus on its own work and more other than the people. So like there are some advantages of in this matrix structure of organizations and also disadvantages. So this is this introduction part of this types of organization structures and dimensional organization structure. Now we move on to a responsibility center. So responsibility center will be depending upon this size of the firm, nature of the firm, type of organizations, right? So the term responsibility center is used to denote any organization unit that is headed by the responsibilities manager. So bank manager is responsible by this, whatever the transaction happening within their branch, is a responsible person. Bank manager is a responsible person in a bank, in a branch. If he's a zonal manager, he's responsible of whatever the branches under his control. He's a responsible person. Like so, like in a company also, the sales manager is responsible for his own store. Our zonal sales manager is responsible for zonal level sales. Our regional head is also sales regional head is also responsible for the whatever the stores are located, whatever the zonals are located within his region, he is a responsible person. Like the sales states so, depending upon the organizational structure, we decided the responsibility center. In fact, a company is a collective responsibility center represented by a box in an organization chart, right? See here, you can see that issues of responsibility center, whatever the inputs are there, like so there are four we can use it. That is land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurs or enterprise, what we call. So land, we will pay this rent, labor will pay wages, capital will pay this interest, entrepreneur you want to the profit. So these are the four basic production functions. Like these are the four production functions in any kind of activity. Any kind of activities are there. Like so inputs. What are the inputs are there? The inputs of an organizations are like land, labor, right? Inputs. Then we need to add the capital. The firm need to add a capital and how much is the capital investment, then is outcome of there. So then the final the company, the center can produce goods and services. Why it is most important of responsible center, right? So responsible center is very important for identify the right person, right place. So here, what is ROI? ROI nothing but return on investments. Return on investment. So how we calculate return on investment? So invested capital, net profit after tax. So if the company capital is 1 lakh rupees, for example, we take an example is capital is 1 lakh, right? The capital is 1 lakh rupee, capital is the investment capital is 1 lakh. And here see that the company get a profit is 20,000, 20,000 profit after payment of tax into 100. What we can take is the return on investment is 20% return on investment. These 1 lakh rupees will provided 20,000 rupees profit. In terms of percentage, it is 20% profit. Return on investments. It after tax only. Or else what we can take is sales by capital. Sales by invested capital. We also calculated responsible center object. Return on investment. Every firm required higher return of investments. So types of responsible centers. So like the various types of responsible centers are according to the size, according to this nature. So like the profit and revenue center, right? All the organizations, they want good profit. They want identify the revenue centers. Then cost and expenses center, the second one. Third one is investment and asset center. Investment asset center. So if the real estate firm, the real estate organization, they are analyzing this investment center or a profit center, asset center. So profit center. So in an organization, uh, is designated that accountability for profit must be have traceable cost and sales revenues are identified. So this profit center is very most important. See that in an organization like we say that Hyderabad branch in Hyderabad. If you take an example of Starbucks, right? Is a beverage firm. Though I have a tie-up with store Tata's. So in Hyderabad they have a 10 stores, 10 different locations, right? So 10 different locations, 10 stores are there. So the profit center is 10 different locations, 10 different centers. So they have a Gachibowli center and they have a Madhapur center, they have Amirpet center, they have LB Nagar center, they have a Uppal center. So like they have a different center. Each location is read as a one profit center according to this Starbucks, right? So here the area is area floor wise. If you take an example of other areas, the profit center. If you see that the profit center, the company can also identify different profit center within the firm, within the organizations. So, like we can take an example of DMarts. So, DMart are selling the groceries as well as the clothes, as well as some other products. They want to check groceries, how much profit their profits are there. Cloth, how much profit is there. Some other product, how the profit is there. So within the store, within this one demand store, they identify a different profit center. So groceries give the only 10% profits. Now cloth giving the 40% profits. Other luxury product will give the profit 50%. Thus, DMart are focusing on this more sales on higher profit products, right? So, like within the organizations, also they can identify this profit center, right? So, look, the reason wise, okay, within the firm wise, right, the profit center is different for organization to organizations. Organization to organization, firm to firm, product to product, service to service. Like, so takes expense center. Why it is expense center is very most important, like the profit center. So every firm wants to reduce the cost, reducing his expenses. How to identify the which branch having higher expenses are there, right? If the lesser expenses branch as well as higher expenses branch. So like as our example is previous example, Starbucks. So rents are different. Like see Starbucks as a branch in Madhapur, branch in Gachibowli, the rents are different compared to Uppal and LB Nagar, right? So Madhapur branch, the rents are very high, the sales also very high, but Uppal, the rents are less, the sales also less, right? So the firm need to control the cost. Cost control or cost minimization is also one of the objective of every organization, and the management control system is also focusing on this cost center, nothing but expenses center, right? The cost center is also used for responsibility accounting approach. Each center wise, how much cost is involving, right? If excess cost is there, the firm has to reducing the cost in their up to their choices. For example, the mission shop or engineering company is composed of several cost centers. My milling machine, thread, leather. Like it is different from this nature of this firm. Like so, investment center. So, like now, which center is going to more profits? So, like no, this one of this, any firm They want to invest the amount. Like, na, the company has to invest this amount in various investment center, but returns are not the same. If this Gachibowli and Madhapur and Uppal, LB Nagar, if the four Starbucks stores are there, but the four stores are different kind of sales pattern, different kind of cost pattern. But the company has to invest more amount in Gachibowli, less amount in LB Nagar or Uppal. Why? Because these stores are producing, contributing higher return compared to other two. So this year, so these companies sales like Gachibowli sales are 2 lakh per day sales. Okay, per day sales 2 lakhs, or you can say that this 100 crores of sales 1 year, and the total investment is 1,000 crores of this Gachibowli, the return on investment is 10%. 10%. But you can take this LB Nagar, the sales are only 10 crores per year, it required 100 crores of investment. Now this return on investment is also 10%. Both are 10%, 10%. But Gachibowli required 1,000 crores, LB Nagar required 100 crores. Am I clear, ma'am? Vijay, ma'am? Hello? 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 Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any doubt, ma'am?
No doubt, sir. It's very clear.
Okay. So, like investment center is also playing a very important role to management control system. Why? Because investments and some centers require huge capital, but they contribute lesser profits. Some centers require lesser capital, they contribute more profits. The firm has identified this investment allocation, where to allocate the amount, how much amount is required. Why? Because finally we required higher ROI. Every firm has to require higher ROI, return on investment. What is the return? If I invest 100 crore rupees in a project, what is my profits? If the profit is 20 crores, I'm very happy. Why? Because my ROI is 20%. It is higher than the bank interest rate. It is higher than the inflation rate. Like higher than this country's GDP, the firm is performing very well. But if it is ROI is 10%, the company has to rethink its investment center. Something is going wrong. Why? Because the banks are providing 6% rate of interest, market growth 8%, but my firm growth is only 10%. I need to change my strategy. The firm has to change the strategy uh, and alternating of this investment proposals. So after this, we'll move to another topic in our syllabus, expenses center. Like, so expense also, as I told you, the uh, cost center, the company has to controlling its cost, right? If the raw material available, 10 people are ready to supply the raw material, the firm has to purchase lower material, but no compromission of its profits, right? So in our syllabus, the structure is importance of responsible center, cost center, nothing but expenses center, the concept of functions, the types of costs, various costs are involving within these organizations, responsible center versus profitable centers. So, like the importance of responsible center, we are also discussed, and the responsible center is most important. Its administrator and assets. It has organizational, functional, productional structure with uh, competence competence in defining these plans, all these. So it's owner, risk production, take production, division, all these are there. So our advantages of this responsible center is devising its own program into different kind of activities, all these are there. And what it is different center, nothing but expense center. So according to EL Cohen, cost center is defined as an organizational department, division or department, or itself division, or a group of missions, or men or both. It includes any unit of activity into which manufacturing a plant or other operating organizations is divided for purposes of cost assignment and allocation of the funds. So like here, so, so similar kind of activities are following, similar kind of activities. Procure department. So they need to procure the material at a cheaper rate and good quality material they need to produce. That is one cost center. The sales department, they need to sell the product at a lower advertising cost. The cost center, right? Wherever the cost involving, it is called as a cost center, right? Is a manpower department, like HR department. They need to procure the employees at a good employees and payment of lower salary, right? So the management control system is required all kind of activities, not only one or two. It requires all kind of activities in organization to get its better ROI, return on investment. The cost centers are held responsible for this cost incurred, but not profit to generate revenue. So these objectives are they need to control the cost, not the profit. If they control the cost, naturally profit may also increase. So like the various types of costs are there, the process of developing a set of expenses center is production objectives, activity expenses. So like what are the activities are there? Like now, Indian organizations, the company required material, purchase material, labor, overhead expenses, other expenses also involving direct expenses, indirect expenses, direct labor, indirect labor. So whatever this, all these are different kind of expenses activities are including. Specific cost. So sometimes the company required a specific demand from cost center is uh, tracking the expenditure associated with a specific function. So by treating a call center separate unit. For example, the company can measure how much it is spending per year. It's 1 2,000 support services. So how get the good profits? So a cost center automate this process. So instead of manpower, if the company uh, uh, but adopting a new technology, automation the process, allowing the management to measure budget and control cost for each specific function of the business. So if the firm has two options, either go for manual or they go for automatic version. So call center can be said that if you press one or two, if you want to see that problem, the machine can do all kind of activities. There is no interruption. There is no manpower required 24 by 7. Anytime you can call, it will get the data. And when the man is entered, work in the morning, it gives this list of queries. Or it is that they say that the 3 employees are required per day, three different shifts, and in between the holidays, festival hours are there. Firm has go for traditional method or they go for automated machine. Every method is own advantages and limitations. Resource allocation is also there. So how much amount can be allocated for each center wise? Right? Cost center, there are so many advantages are there. The monitoring efficiency, the cost center can be increase the employee confidence and the prevention of losses also there as per this cost center wise. So increasing the company profits, once the company can reduce the cost, the profit may also increase. See that for example here, if the HR department was removed, then the basic employee function, the essential process cannot be performed with this. Like, so there are some limitations. The cost center, types of cost center. So dictionary of expense center is also there. Times we can use both cost center as well as expense center as interchangeable words. The personal cost center, nothing but HR department is one center. Impersonal, where cost center deals with this location or equipment or both. It's called impersonal. The production cost center, where the production is taken place. So hot mill, cold mill, and hardening, polishing. It's one kind of production process center. Service center, if you see that software companies, the banks and insurance branches are under one service centers. So operational cost centers are there wherever this operation will take place, like manufacturing concern. will identify this operational cost center. The process cost is also there. If this pharma company will identify this process cost centers, if the process one, process two, process three, it is there. Ancillary manufacturing are party, sometimes the company cannot produce this final product, they can produce ancillary manufacturing or partly producing cost and sometimes, right? Sometimes they produce only 50% production. So types of cost and types of expenses. So controllable cost, the firm can be control the cost within their hands, like the direct material. The company can buy a good quality material at cheaper rates, and company can appoint a good skilled labor and efficient labor. And like the country, if a company can appoint, they can control the cost. Uncontrollable cost, sometimes the cost cannot be controlled, like whatever changes going on the environment, going on the policy making, like the company can introduce a GST or increase the taxes or see that the employee salaries. Why? Because depending upon these inflation rates, insurance, regulatory mechanism system, some costs are may not be controlled, some costs can be controlled. Some say traceable cost, nothing but we can easily identify the cost. Traceable costs. Within the manufacturing process, so many costs are involving. Some costs can be traceable, like process wise, product wise, customer wise, geographical area wise, other cost objects. So the firm can identify this traceable cost. See here, traceable costs are advertising. The firm can easily advertise. The object of this advertising cost is what is the impact in the production cycle, and ultimately company sales. So liability insurance, this some company or subsidiary. So marketing manager, they can see that product line and rent is also product line, warehouse cost, and geographical area wise. So like there is a very clear distinction between traceable cost and cost objects. Right? Engineering cost is also engineering cost. The engineering cost is also related to item which where the inputs has been explicit physical relationship within this output form. So like there is a difference between responsible center and cost center. So we can expect the question in examination, the responsibility center versus cost center, right? So cost centers are definitely different from this profit center. Response center is different for this cost center. So cost center is location, person, item, or item of equipment for which the cost may ascertained and used for purpose of cost control, right? So like there is a difference between cost center and profit center. There are two different purposes are there. Now we move to unit number 5. Very important one is after these two discussion, it is profit center. Every firm has to profit center or revenue center. Every firm has to increase their revenues, increase their profits. There is a difference between profit center and revenue centers. Revenue center, nothing but it is a sales centers. A profit center are there. Essential profit center, business units, and profit center. So evaluate the performance of these entities. Measuring profitability in the profit centers also we are going to discuss one by one, right? So here you can see that the revenue center, where this firm get their revenue. So as a manager of say revenue center and held responsible for revenues output, nothing but the company's sales. Company's sales. The sales department manager has to increase the company sales year to year, last year to this year. How much the sales are generally increased, right? If the sales are increased, nothing but revenues are increased, naturally the profits are sometimes will increase. Okay. See here the flagship Tanishq flagship stores are example for revenue centers. So such center devoted to increase its net revenue, assume no profitable center for this production. The profit center are the responsible center for which are responsible for profits, where the profits are increased. The manager of a profit center has control over both in cost of resources as well as revenue earned. So his responsible center, this profit center will take both cost and responsible center. So ultimately, every firm has to get this revenue. See this hypothetical profit center. Men's clothing department, women clothing department, children clothing department, toy department, shoe department, medicine department, and the photography department. So, like within the organization, there are different kind of profit centers are there. Why? Because uh, cost is different for producers of this men clothing and women clothing, children clothing, and all these costs are different as well as this pricing is also different. Like right, so like the synthesis of different types of responsible centers, like center types, expense center, turnover center, profit center, profitable centers, as example of administrative services example. And turnover, nothing but sales department turnover, profit center, which product wise, how much profit the company going to get. The profit center, the same production units. So, like these administrative services responsible for preparing a budget and obtain best services and not for profit for objectives. But revenue centers, turnover centers also, they need to increase the sales at the same time. The firm has to get profit. The profit center, the maximum objective is maximizing its profit. So capital, the profitable center, they need to maximizing its overall result by making best correlation between the cost and turnover, right? So what is the essential of profit center? The profit center is very most essential for organizational autonomy. Like organization has to take its own decision making. So like the firm has taken example of recording purchases, recording production mix, pricing and inventory. Like so every nothing but is a four piece: price, production, place, and inventory. All these like source of inputs and market for production. The source of inputs also there. Company has to take make a product or buy a product. So which is most advantage the firm, right? If the company, if Mahindra company has to buy a tire from the MRF, or they need to produce its own uh, tire. So it make or buy decisions. Like measurable costs and revenues are of different centers. So using as a profits as a measurement of performance. So profit is one of the barometer, right? If the firm getting higher profit, it indicates the company performing is well, right? So the profits are used. Most of the companies, and as most of the companies are going to use the profit as one kind of measurement of the performance. If the company get the good profits, it indicates the company sales are good, the management take a right decision, the customers are very happy, the pricing is also good. Like it gives 100 solutions if the company get this profits. The size of profit centers is also different according to this transactions, according to the centers, you will decide size of these profits. Business units and profit centers. So like profit centers as a business sometimes interchangeable, sometimes are different. How to evaluate the performance of entity? As earlier I told you, the profit is one of the area, and second one is you see the sales growth. Third one is customer satisfaction, and like all these are manager versus profit center. Like, and the company has to go for this performance variations, right? Performance variations. If the company can perform is better compared to previous year, it's better. If the company performance is not better to compare the previous year, something going wrong within the organizations, our company has to take some corrections. So in a service industry like a uh, clothing chain, the actual cost of operations, operating the stores, less the budget cost, like that, how this performance can be evaluated and the variations can be identified. And discretionary expenses variation, sometimes discretionary variations also happening, like various changes within the change happening within the firm. Like no, we need to appoint a new manager, the old manager will resign, or we need to appoint a new brand ambassador. Previous brand ambassador not that not. We need to give them more social media. Like we need to change our marketing strategies. We need to change our packing style. We need to change our advertisements. We need to change our logos, coloring. They are happening in a discretionary expense also, which variations have been happening within these firms. So measuring the performance, one thing is margin, contribution margin. So contribution nothing but sales minus variable cost. Sales minus variable cost. Nothing but before fixed cost, we'll see this how much margin is there. Contribution margin is there. Contribution margin each level. And direct profits, sometimes controllable profit, income before taxes, net income before tax. And there's a lot of advantages for identifying and better of profit center, better planning and decision making. Easily we can take profit center wise the right decision at right place and implementing this whatever the planning we have. Like participation in organizational plans and policies also will frame and beneficial competitive environment is also supported. So like various limitations of profit center also we can see here, like overburden of the employees. No, if the targets are fixed, there is a conflict within the organization. Sometimes, like there is a problem of global changes as well as business changes, inflation changes, government policy changes also affect will achieve these targets. Transfer pricing is also there. Okay. So, like so far we discussed is block number two. Responsible center, cost center, and profit center. Any doubt, Vijay ma'am? Hello? Hello? Any doubt, ma'am? Or can I stop here? Okay, I'm stopping here. And the next class tomorrow, we are going to discuss block number three.